Good evening, my fellow Americans. This is the 12th of June edition of A Quiet Rage. Couple of things to talk about today. First, I want to talk about something that I find disturbing, and I'm not alone in finding this disturbing. As a function of having served in the Navy for 20 years and been all over the world, I picked up a lot of, I networked. I picked up a lot of friendships, a lot of acquaintances along the way. And an acquaintance of mine, who I will not name for their own anonymity, alerted me that there is new guidance from the United States Office of Personnel Management. There was a memorandum that was published on the 29th of May of this year, titled Merit Hiring Plan. And it's a 30-page document discussing many things. And on page 10, there is a list of 4 essay questions that anyone seeking employment for all federal jobs at GS 5, that's government service, 5 or above, will include these 4 short free response essay questions. The first one talks about commitment to the Constitution, founding principles of the United States. That's all fine and good. The second one, using your skills and experience to improve government efficiency and effectiveness. I'm all about efficiency and effectiveness. The trouble comes with question number 3. I'm going to read it in its entirety. And I'll put it right here so you can read along with me. How would you help advance the President's executive orders and policy priorities in this role? Identify 1 or 2 relevant executive orders or policy initiatives that are significant to you, and explain how you would help implement them if hired. Now, I'm certain that I'm going to be accused of being Chicken Little, that this is a molehill, if anything, and I'm making a mountain out of it. I assure you I'm not. A federal employee takes an oath. I'll put that up here too for us all to read. I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter. Nothing about the president. Nothing about executive orders. It's about the Constitution. And yeah, question number 1 talks about that. This is problematic because it is an indication of what the president wants. Because this came from the president. This is Project 2025. This is Trump wanting to push towards loyalty towards him. If this question said something like, how would you help, how would you help uphold the laws of this country, or something like that. But instead it says, how would you help advance the president's executive orders? And name one or two that are significant to you. This is to put candidates for federal employment in a mind of pleasing the president. Now, there are many federal employees who, as the saying goes, serve at the pleasure of the president. And certainly you should have, if you are serving in an administration, especially in the executive branch, certainly you should have some level of loyalty. But it should be to the office, not the office holder. A federal employee is useless if they do not know how to speak truth when truth is needed to power. Say things like, I'm sorry, Mr. President, but that's not authorized. We can't do that. That's not legal. That's not ethical. And please don't make the mistake of trying to accuse me of never having been in that position, because I assure you I have. Not with the president, obviously, but I was in a position on my last sea tour. I was in a position of some responsibility and authority, and was told on a few occasions by someone higher ranking than me, who could and did make my life painful, was told on multiple occasions to do something that I knew to be unauthorized, and I informed him, I can't do that. That's not authorized. And my life on board got painful. And he pressed me and tried. At first it was friendly, but it quickly became a contentious situation over a course of a few days. And his tone became much less friendly and much more strident. No, strident's not even the word. I don't know. He tried to intimidate me. He tried to tell me, do it anyway. We will get permission. I'll get you permission, the permission that we need. And I said, I'm not doing that until I see in writing that permission. I'm not taking your word that you're going to get it for me. I need to see it in writing that we are authorized to do this. And until such time, I will not do any such thing. I'm not going to. I didn't say this to him, but I didn't trust him to actually follow through and get that authorization. So I didn't do the thing. So I know what I'm talking about. And this is someone who I dealt with on a daily basis, who had, as I said, the ability and the desire to clearly make my life painful, because I dared to speak the truth to him. This question number 3, is at best problematic. and I hate to be the guy to say it, I hate to use this, but this is this isn't the start of a slippery slope. We are well and truly down the slope. This is another inch, another foot, another yard down the slippery slope towards authoritarianism. The president doesn't want people, clearly doesn't want people who are going to speak truth to him, who are going to say, sir, that's not authorized, that's not legal, that's not ethical, that's not moral. He wants, absolutely, Mr. President, I'll get right on that. In a minute, Mr. President, you got it. Yep, gonna do it. He wants bobbleheads. He doesn't want to hear the truth. He just wants to hear, yes, sir, we'll get right on it. I said it earlier this week, I'm getting tired of being right. Because mark my words, stuff like this is gonna keep showing up. They're just gonna slowly drip feed it to us. I will say this, his administration is at least smart enough to know they flooded the zone, right? That was the plan, flood the zone with all kinds of shit right out of the gate to keep us, the opposition, on our back foot, always having to react to the next thing. They're going to keep drip feeding this kind of stuff. I would not be the least bit surprised if sometime during this presidency, the oath that federal employees take that says, I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States, I would not be the least bit surprised if somehow, subtly, and without fanfare, that oath is changed. To include some kind of wording about deference to or loyalty to, or enter phrase here, to the president. The Constitution, I'm sure, will stay there, so, for deniability, of course. But I wouldn't be surprised. They'll try it. I guarantee you they'll try it. And I would love to be wrong about that. I would love to be wrong about a lot of things. But one thing about the president of these United States is he can't help himself but keeps proving me right. And I just wish he would stop. I wish I could be wrong about him. I really do. But I know who he is. I know what he is. And he's just gonna keep being a terrible person and an awful president, and stuff like this is gonna keep happening. And I'll come back and remind you of it when it does. Don't worry about that. You may have heard that there is a parade taking place this weekend, in just 2 days, on the 14th. It just so happens that President Trump's birthday and the United States Army birthday, the founding date of the United States Army, are the same date. It's also Flag Day, June 14th. Not a well-known day. And there's going to be a parade, a big parade in D.C. to celebrate the Army birthday. And And they'll try and tell us, they've been trying to tell us, it's to celebrate the Army. This has nothing to do with the president. It's nothing to do with his birthday. Except that he has been pushing for a big military parade to, I don't know, see if that makes his dick hard, I guess. He did that in his first administration. This is a vanity project for him. I mean, if you want to honor the service of service members, take it from a former service member. If you really want to honor those that are currently serving, don't make them march in a parade. Give them a day off. There are drill and demonstration teams. The Navy has the Blue Angels. The Marines have the Silent Drill Corps, which, if you've never seen the Marine Corps Silent Drill, those Marines are impressive what they can do with not a word spoken. Anyway, there are postings in the military that are purely for demonstration, for PR. Bring them in. I don't know what the Army has. I don't know. I'm sure they have something. Bring them in. Have them do a thing. Don't make a couple of thousand soldiers march down the street in June. What's going to be, if it's not pouring rain, it's probably going to be raining. That's going to be... Anyway, I feel bad. Either pouring rain or super hot, because it's June in Virginia / DMV. Don't make them do that. And another one of those loyalty things that they're just drip feeding to us. It has become public knowledge that the soldiers who are going to be visible during the speech that the president is going to give, which is just, I guarantee you, is going to be a fucking train wreck. It's going to be awful for any number of reasons, but mostly, it's being given by Trump. He has been given, side note, he has been gifted some really good speeches in the past, but his terrible delivery, his inability to deliver a speech with any sort of pathos whatsoever, and his insistence on going off on tangents just ruined all of them. I would hate to be a speechwriter for his, because he just destroys all of them. And anyway, he's had some good speechwriters in the past, and I'm sure he's got a couple of good ones now, but he will just absolutely ruin whatever they give to him. Okay, back off that tangent. It's become public knowledge that the soldiers that are going to be visible during his speech, probably behind him, they're being screened for physical fitness. They don't want any fatties behind him. And they're also being screened for their political affiliations. They don't want anybody behind him who might roll their eyes or scoff in any visible way at any of the dumb shit that he says. Soldiers, United States Army soldiers, being honored on the birthday of the United States Army, are being screened for political affiliation. Does that should make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Because that is an indication that the barbarians are not at the gates. They are well inside. And the this is gonna keep happening. It's gonna keep happening. Mark my words. So what can we do? Well, you can go to nokings.org and you can look at the map of all the protests that are going to be happening on the 14th. Peaceful protests that will be happening in all 50 states. And you can attend one of those peaceful protests. Rain or shine, I will be attending the one closest to me. I will probably bring 1 or 2 cameras and document some of the day. I might show that to you in a separate video. Might include it in the next video come next Thursday. We'll see. Again, that's nokings.org. You can attend one of those peaceful protests, and I mean, certainly don't watch this parade. I feel bad for the soldiers that have to be in it, because parades are fun for the people watching them. They're not so much fun for the people marching in them, especially when you're in a... Anyway. So, go to nokings.org. If you're not able this weekend to be a part of a peaceful protest, that's fine. I still recommend that you find a way to try and protest in a peaceful manner. Show solidarity for the peaceful protests that are going on in LA right now, which, by the way, we're being lied to about. Plenty of people who live and or work in Los Angeles have been trying to tell us on social media and elsewhere that LA is not a war zone. There are protests and there have been some altercations, certainly, and some property has been damaged. But largely the protests have been peaceful. And I mean, I don't understand how the police in this country haven't figured out that when you show up in riot gear and you start shooting rubber bullets at people, journalists from Australia, for example, or just some poor lady trying to get into her apartment that happens to be behind them. They shot her in the face with rubber bullets. That's pretty cool. The police in this country haven't figured out how to de-escalate a massive crowd. It's not, or haven't figured out how to avoid escalating the situation. But just remember, the police, according to the Supreme Court, the police in this country are under no obligation to protect individual citizens from harm. But they sure will protect some Uber or some self-driving cars from getting torched. Again, I don't advocate violence, but I don't get super bothered if self-driving cars from some faceless corporation get torched. I'm sorry, I don't feel bad. That doesn't bother me. Especially when, allegedly, those cars are used as surveillance by police. Anyway, if, like me, you understand that federal workers should not be beholden to or loyal to the president as this questionnaire wants them to be. If you understand that draft dodging piece of shit shouldn't be honored with a parade of soldiers, and if you intend to protest peacefully, as I do on Saturday, instead of watching in any way this vanity exercise for the president, then keep your powder dry and keep your quiet rage. Good night, my fellow Americans.